Today is a quite exciting day because if you remember QUBE that I did a custom loop inside, which can actually pack quite nice things, that was from MagniumGear. Today we have a rebranding of MagniumGear called MagniumGear, and behind that name stands Phanteks. So what we can expect? Quite quality, I would say. Now right here, this is the QUBE 2 IM, and IM stands for infinity mirror. Now this is quite cool because even though you have a tempered glass on front, you have something quite interesting when it comes to visual aspects. Now this case comes in four varieties. You have white and black, standard tempered glass front, which you see through just like this tempered glass panel on the side, and you have IM infinity mirror, the black and white version as well. So that's quite cool. But when we talk about the case and everything that stands for this case is something really outstanding. And even though some of you might compare it to 011 Dynamic, I would say that it's not that even close. The thing is, 011 Dynamic doesn't support ITX motherboard in terms of having a standard ATX motherboard right here. So here's the catch. With the Phanteks power supply, you can power up two actual systems, and at the back right here in the second chamber, you can place a mini ITX motherboard with either, I don't know, if you want to go low profile cooler, or if you want to go with custom loop and then just reroute everything here on the front. And basically you'll just need to have longer tubes. But also there's a possibility to place an ITX or a small form factor capture card at the back. So that's really cool, and it gives you loads of possibilities if you want a streaming and gaming PC and you don't want to have two of these boxes laying around. You can just pack everything in here. And as you've seen with QUBE, you can really actually do a nice custom loop inside. Now when we're talking about QUBE 2, of course, because this is the star of the show, you can place up to three 360mm radiators, one on top, one on the side, and one at the bottom. Now, before we go and explain how it works, the thing is, you can place 420 radiator inside, but that's quite alright. I mean, 360 is outstanding. You can place 280 on top, 280 on bottom, or two 140mm fans on top and the bottom. On the side, only up to 360 without 280, because the width is maximum 12 centimeters. But the cool thing about the side thing is, the side mounting part is that at the back, behind the chassis, where you actually attach your fans and radiator to the case, you have 5 centimeters of thickness availability for your radiator. Now it might be a bit difficult to squeeze in the 5 centimeters because I measured actually from the chassis to the end of the chassis, and this is, I think you have 5.2 centimeters. So 5 centimeters, I think you could squeeze it in. And the good thing, the fans go on front. This is how I actually placed Phanteks Glacier 1 360 mph white. On the bottom you can place a 360 radiator, 280 radiator, 240, or 3 120mm fans, or 2 140. When we're talking about the top radiator and fan thickness, you can go up to altogether 6.5 centimeters. Bottom radiator and fans, you can go up to, I would say, well, you can go basically really high, but I would suggest connecting all the cables at the bottom so you don't have any restrictions when you place the radiator and the fans, just in case, you know. But I measured that it could go up to maybe above 5.5 centimeters. Now the front side part where the fans are, when you place the radiator at the back on the front, you have space up to 4.5 centimeters to the first bracket of the fans. What can I say, it really does look outstanding. And even though it's dark tinted tempered glass just because of the infinity mirror, you can actually sometimes see through it and see the interior of the chassis. But the main thing is you can see everything clearly here, and that's quite outstanding. Now I have 12600K running right here, and we have RTX 3080 Ti Supreme X. 12600K with 360 on the side, 3 on the bottom as an intake, top as an outtake. we got temperatures up to 60 degrees Celsius. The GPU went up to 75-ish, and that's with AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, which is kind of okay. I mean, you have 3 bottom intake, and the only outtake for the GPU is basically right here at the back. Now, as I said, at the back you might consider going with an ITX motherboard, which will give you loads of options, of course, for streaming and gaming. But that's not all. At the back you have, I would say, a middle compartment which can carry up to 3.5-inch hard drives. Now, there's a possibility for a dedicated 2.5-inch base. You have 5 included and 9 is the maximum. You can go up to 9 120mm fans, so 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top and 3 on the side. And the cool thing about everything is you have bottom dust filter, which is easily removed, so you just have to pull it out. At the top you have a nice perforated steel which acts as well as a dust filter, so gives you guys less things to clean, I would say. Now, when we're talking about front I/O panel, you have one USB 3.1 generation 2 Type-C, you have 2 USB 3.0, you have microphone and headphone 3.5mm jack, the RGB addressable control, which also has the possibility for mode and color buttons, so there are 2 buttons on front. You have power button and you have reset button that can also act as a system 2 power button if you have that kind of power supply. So all the cables are already I would say instructed how to connect and on which system, so you know how to power on each system, which is outstanding, the same as on QUBE, the original one. PSU length can go up to 275mm, 155mm if the lower SSD is installed. CPU cooler height is 148mm, motherboard height, which also gives us a possibility to place an eATX motherboard up to 280mm, and when we're talking about the GPU length, 410mm, while the GPU height is 162mm. There's also a possibility to place a vertical mount from Phanteks, so it can fit quite nicely, and then it's all crazy madness for you guys. Now, there's also one more thing that I would like to mention when it comes to this case, and actually while building inside it. At the back, as already stated, ITX motherboard fits without any problems. You can go with a low profile CPU tower cooler, that's alright. Then, when we're talking about cable management at the back, you have 4 Velcro tie which really go straight into the middle of the back compartment, and you can really reroute those cables quite nicely. So I would say really nice job when we're talking about QUBE and this specific design of the case, giving us a possibility to actually have 2 systems inside of one case, powered up with 1 power supply. Quite outstanding. Also, as I already stated, I use the Phanteks Glacier 1 360 mph white, and on the other side, powering the front system, because I didn't place any system at the back this time, we have Phanteks amp 1000 watts. So guys, quite interesting case. I'll put the links below for you guys to check out the price, because they are actually really interesting if you take into consideration going with 2 systems inside. But even without it, the price is quite appealing. So guys, that's it. Check the links below as already stated. If you're new to the channel and you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. So hopefully I will see you all next time. Bye bye.